Hello everyone and welcome to the new inbox review of several aftermarket parts for the Su-35S in 1/72 scale made by Temp Models. While I'm pretty certain that Temp Models had Hasegawa kit in mind when they were designing these sets, you can use them of course with any kit you want, namely the only other option on the market at the moment, the Great Wall Hobby kit, but possibly with a future release from Zvezda as well. The first set we will look at is the K36D5 ejection seat, which is used by Su-35S as well as the Su-57. If you have checked my previous inbox review of Temp Models KM1 seat for the MiG-21, you will be familiar with the way the seats are packaged and that there are two of them in the set. Let's take a closer look now at the seats and compare them with a Great Wall Hobby offering, as well as some older photos of my build of the Hasegawa Su-35S. As you can see, the details are exceptionally well made, as good in the front and on the sides as on the back side. Be aware though that both Hasegawa as well as Great Wall Hobby kits included the guiding rails for the ejection seat on the seat itself and not the cockpit top. So if you want to use these seats, you will have to scratch build the guiding rails, but that shouldn't be too difficult. Okay, let's compare the seat with the Great Wall Hobby offering. As you can see, there are plenty of details on both seats from the frontal aspect. Great Wall Hobby kit has slightly larger and thicker ejection seat handles, but that is normally the limitation of the ejection molding technology. Side details are very similar between the seats. On the back side you can see the previously mentioned guiding rails that are already molded on Great Wall Hobby kit. The largest difference that I have noticed between the two seats is the wider headrest on the Great Wall Hobby kit, but I cannot vouch on the accuracy of either one of them. And last but not least, Hasegawa ejection seat out of the box with added ejection seat handles for comparison. As you can see, there is no real comparison detail-wise to either Great Wall Hobby or Temp Models offerings. Okay, it's time for the next review set. This is the Hibini M electronic countermeasure pods that are used by Su-35S as well as the Su-34, the fullback. Su-35s were always seen carrying these pods during the Syria campaign, so if you are building an aircraft from that conflict, the pods are a necessary equipment for your model. As you can already see from the instructions, the pods come with protective covers for the sensitive equipment on the back and at the front of the pods, and will add a little bit of red color to your model if you decide to use them, of course. You have to be careful because the pods are not symmetrical, so you have to be careful when installing them on your wingtips, and you can clearly see that even the attachment points to the wingtips are different between the pods. There are some details that are different between the pods, some bulges and some antennas, and as you can see, neither are the position lights on the outside of the pods in the same position. As mentioned before, we also get 4 nicely casted covers that are usually mounted on parked aircraft, and as you can see, the fit is really great, and maybe just putting a bit of uhu or blue tack inside of the cover will make it removable if you choose to do so. Now let's see how Great Wall Hobby did their Hibini M's. As you can see, Great Wall Hobby correctly depicted the attachment points of the Hibinis, although their attachment points are slightly wider than from Temp Model. The biggest difference between the two is the amount of details that are represented on Temp Models Hibinis. You can see that also the Great Wall Hobby correctly depicted the offset position lights on the outside of the pods. The one thing Great Wall Hobby didn't do is the flat panel that runs basically throughout the whole length of the pod on the upper and lower side of the pod. Problem is that Hibinis from the Great Wall Hobby are made out of 2 separate halves, and this is exactly the position where the joint line is running, and as such a panel would be impossible to make. And just a note, Hasegawa doesn't include Hibini pods in its kits. And here we come to the last but not least third set, the wheels for the Su-35S. Simple yet clear instructions show us that we get 2 main wheels, 2 front wheels, and a mudguard for the front wheels. The wheels are really nicely casted with all the details you would expect from an aftermarket set. This includes the threads, the details on the side walls with tire dimensions, as well as details on the wheel hubs themselves. If we compare both Temp Model wheels and Great Wall Hobby kit wheels, we can see that Great Wall Hobby did an amazing job. I think these are one of the best looking out of the box wheels out there on the market. Although Temp Models wheels are slightly more detailed, have sharper details, but still a good effort from Great Wall Hobby. Unfortunately, I don't have a Hasegawa wheel to show you, but it is basically just a simple wheel with simple wheel hub details. As you would expect after seeing the main wheel details, the same goes for the front wheels as well. Nicely defined weighted tire with sighted details as well as threads. The bolts inside the rims are clearly visible. Let's compare the front wheel with the Great Wall Hobby wheel. While it's not bad per se, the Temp Models Resin one is much nicer, much more detailed than the difference was with the main wheels. The mudguard piece in this set is really amazing, very thin, very well casted without any warpage or anything. It really sets itself apart from the whole set. It looks like it was made out of photo-etched parts and then just casted in resin. As you can see, comparison with the Great Wall Hobby kit part just doesn't seem fair with the amount of details the resin one provides. I would like to thank the Temp Models for sending me the review samples, and if you'd liked this review, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.